Okay. Live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of It's a Matter of Life or Death. I'm your host, Josue, with little mini Josue right here. Excuse me. No way. Are we still here? I just want to check. Oh my God. Okay. Sorry. I thought I had the Facebook one. I thought I had touched a notification and I took it to another app and I thought it was over. Welcome back. It's another episode of It's a Matter of Life or Death. We are officially more than halfway through the year. We are past the halfway point. We're past the halfway mark of the half of like the middle of the month, or like the half months, or the 6 months, which is the half of the total month. So we passed the half. So it's crazy. I just think about I can't believe it. The days seem to be long. The days seem to like take forever to go by, especially when you're like working or like or not doing much, just relaxing. But time flies by when you're having fun. And then the days take forever, and the year is just like zooming by us. Like I'm pretty sure just yesterday it was 2025. So, anyways, I always get caught up on the time, on the date, because it's it's like mind blowing to me how it all works out. Sorry, let me put my phone on the not disturb, because then I get notifications and then I lose track of like train of thought. It's so bad. But hope everybody's having a good week. Hope everybody's keeping up with the World Cup. I know Ecuador lost. Send some hearts in the comments for Ecuador, because I need it. Some consolation. The worst part, and I resonate with these TikToks. It's a TikTok trend when it says, for example, they go on a vacation and they go to like a beach and it's raining all the days, and they have like the little violin song playing. They sing, "Me looking at all my savings go down the drain," because they're in like at a vacation spot, but it's raining. So like, what are you gonna do to stay indoors, right? So that's kind of how I felt, because I was at the World Cup game and Ecuador lost, and I was just seeing all of my hard work, all of my money just go down the drain because they lost. I was even more heartbroken that they lost, because I was there in person. So it's unlike some trauma right now. Don't mind me if I start crying. Just kidding, but just got to keep thinking about that whenever you work on your budget, whenever you're making your budget, whenever you're setting aside funds to spend, or even whenever you're making purchases like this. You can't think about the money that you've already spent, because it's already done, but you definitely can plan for it ahead of time. So I knew the World Cup was coming, work my budget around that, fix my budget, actually not around that, prior to that, and then make sure I was able to attend. And I did. And I didn't feel so bad about just being there, but I felt more mad about the loss. So that's what you should be doing. That's what you should be doing with your money. And that's how you should be enjoying your money. So that's actually perfect, because this month we've been talking about reverse mortgages again. We've touched on that topic before, but this week, let me see if this works better. It's because I want Facebook to see the painting behind me, just like YouTube does. But I think I block it with my big old head right there. Anyways, so this month we've been talking about reverse mortgages again, and today in specific, we're going to talk about CCCS helps you. If you guys aren't familiar, CCCS, Consumer Credit Counseling Services of Northern Illinois, the organization that is the proud owner of this YouTube channel and the proud owner of this Facebook page. And we are a non-for-profit organization, and we help people with their finances, not necessarily telling you how to invest the finances, but how to improve your finances, how to improve your financial status, not necessarily financial status. Well, yeah, how to improve your financial status. Take control of your finances before they take control of you, because if you guys aren't careful, then your finances could fall out of whack, and that could throw a lot of things out of whack. So, for instance, like I said, this month we're talking about reverse mortgages. If your finances aren't in tune or are not set up correctly, then you might be struggling to like set some money aside for like savings, right? So once you start a savings habit and you build enough past your emergency savings, and then you build enough past your targeted savings, and you start saving towards retirement, then you wouldn't be in a predicament where you would need a reverse mortgage. However, if you are in a predicament where you do need a reverse mortgage, it's totally okay, because kind of like how we've spoken about like bankruptcies, kind of how we've spoken about our debt management programs, those are relief methods, and they're there to be used, especially when relief is needed. So this is a great program available for those people that like I said, that they need it, that they really like their home. This is their forever home and they don't want to move away. And their home is tailor made to them. For example, let's say maybe they're on wheelchairs and their home has ramps, and it has railings in the bathroom. It has railings everywhere. It's already set up for you. You wouldn't want to leave that environment. So it makes sense for you to stay there, especially if your retirement funds or Social Security it's just not cutting it, and it's not making enough to meet month's end. Then there are programs like reverse mortgages where we'll be able to help you not only navigate. I'm not sure about applying, but we'll definitely help you understand we'll definitely help you with applying. Because that's what the organization that we work with that are sponsoring us. They're our sponsors, and they'll always they work with us so that way we can help you submit those applications. Or our counselors can help you submit those applications. Anywho, we will help you navigate those waters. We will help you understand all of your options, and most importantly, and this is what I wanted to say, because yes, as I've talked about this before, we've talked about this on our channel previously. So if you go back to June, the third week of June, on our YouTube channel, talking to Facebook, or not June, I'm sorry, January, you'll be able to see how CCS could help with the application process on that. But today I wanted to speak specifically on how we could help as a whole financially, not financially, but how we could help as a whole in a holistic financial view for you. So for example, what does that really mean, Josue? Well, what it means is we're definitely going to take a look at your budget currently, because this is an application process. Things will not take effect overnight. Definitely it'll take some time to get processed. It'll take some time to get reviewed. We talked about some qualifications last week, and one of them is the FHA requirements must be met. So that means that somebody is going to send an appraiser out to the property to appraise it and see if it meets those FHA requirements. So it'll definitely take some time. What I'm trying to get at is how CCCS helps is you'll come in, talk to a counselor, let them know like, hey, I saw Josue talking about reverse mortgages on Facebook. Can I get more information? They'll schedule an appointment with you, tell you all of the documents that they need. Then our counselors will go through your current financial situation, give you a budget, give you a budget for your current living situation, because at the end of the day, that's what it's a blueprint for financial stability is a budget. And the best thing you're going to get out of all of our counseling sessions with our counselors, you're going to get a budget tailor-made to your lifestyle. And we say that with no obligation. So because we always say nobody cares more about your money than you do. And so our counselors will sit there, go through your finances with you, give you a budget to make it through the application process. And then once you get approved, then you'll come back and then maybe get another budget with the updated income, But what I was saying is we could only give you the recipe. You actually have to get in the kitchen and cook it up yourself. You actually had to put it to work. So even if you come talk to the counselors and you think the budget that they gave you or the budget that they suggested for you won't work for you, then by all means, you just have to follow it. However, that's one way that CCCS helps is we take a look at your current finances, give you the proper counseling on them, give you what we think, and then give you how your budget should look. That way you could either improve your financial situation or get out of the financial hole that you may be in currently. So we help in many different ways. That is the first and foremost way, is a budget. And I love it because, like I said, currently right now we're in summer, and maybe you have other goals. Maybe you have goals. Maybe you're already in the house and it's settled, but you're welcoming a grandbaby, and then like I said, your retirement income and your social security income is just enough to cover your expenses, like your tax expenses and your utilities. But you want to get out and you want to enjoy, and you want to buy some things for your grandbabies. You want to start, you know, spoiling them because it's your first one. So then you want to increase your income a little bit, but you're at an age where you're not gonna work anymore. So a reverse mortgage might be right for you, and then we'll make you put a budget together to include a little budget for like gift giving, because you also don't want to put all your money towards that. Unless you do, like I said, it's your money. Nobody cares more about your money than you do. We're just here to give you suggestions. We'll definitely some things to keep in mind. We schedule sessions no more than 2 weeks out. There is a cost. There's $150 cost with the session. We could counsel in almost every state. We could do it through Zoom. So that's a good thing about us. We could do those counseling sessions via Zoom. Not just necessarily us, but like ever since COVID, we learned that a lot of things could get talked out through Zoom, especially a counseling session. And I think about this sometimes too, because when you come to our offices, they're not friendly. It's just a regular office building, but it might be a little daunting sitting in the office with a counselor in front of you and then them going through your finances. But it might not be as daunting if you're sitting on like your coffee table, or you're sitting in your dining room table, or maybe just in your office on a desk that you have at home. And then you go through your finances with the counselor. That's totally fine. I actually think that's ideal, because then you're kind of more in your element. You don't feel so much pressure, and it shouldn't feel as daunting because you're in your comfort of your own home, especially if you plan to stay on it and do the reverse mortgage. So that's a good thing about doing your counseling sessions through Zoom. You can send all of your documents via email. We have a secure email system, so everything works out in your favor, honestly. We will create a budget, and then that's pretty much it. We'll also give you tips for like older homeowners, things like looking at the bigger picture. Like I've said in previous streams or in previous lives, this might not be your only option. Maybe if you are expecting a grandchild, then who knows? Maybe your next of kin, your offspring, who's having said grandchild, maybe they'll need some help. Maybe they'll need some help babysitting, and they'll move you into their own residence. Maybe they're like, okay, you know what? You could just sell your home, use the proceeds of that as you please, because it's your home, and then move in with me. So that could be an option. Also, there's other may be lower cost of living, such as like assisted living spaces, because then you're only paying for a room. I'm not necessarily sure how those establishments work, to be honest, but I can't imagine that you're paying utilities on an assisted living space. I'm pretty sure you might just have to pay for a room, and if you sell the residence, then you're gonna have a good amount of money to cushion those payments for a while. Plus, you're still gonna get your retirement and social security benefits that you are getting. So we'll definitely help you look at the bigger picture, because like I said, this is an option, relief option, not to be confused. It is a relief option. It is there to be used, but it might not be your only option, Definitely, you don't want to wait till the last minute. You don't want to wait till like your savings is running out and you're noticing that it's just not holding up anymore. Don't want to wait for that. You always want to have cash ready for emergencies. And it's also helpful because once you get to a certain age, and I was telling this to my dad. So I took my dad to the World Cup game last week, and I was like, it's funny how the tables have turned, I'm taking you to your first World Cup game. And it's funny because usually parents take their kids to like their first whatever, first baseball game, first football game, first soccer game. I'm not saying that this is his first soccer game, but this is his first World Cup game. It's a first, So I was like, funny how that the tables have turned, father. But no, it's not funny. But what I'm trying to get at, it gets to a point where they did their job, raising us. They did what they had to do. Um, they did a really good job. So I'm able to reciprocate that, and now I'm able not necessarily raise them, but take care of them. And I help in some ways, shape, or form. And some kids may help in more ways than that. And so definitely it helps to once once you get to a certain age, or once your parents get to a certain age, then it's good to consider maybe a family budget, because then, especially if you're a caretaker and you're taking care of somebody, or maybe if your kids are taking care of you, then it's good to have a family budget, because then they could also contribute to your finances, and this might not be the only option. Especially if it's like needed for like fun things and stuff, and like you're looking for more funds to like enjoy things a little bit more, then those things could easily be arranged for the family. Always on that same point, it's always important to talk to your family, not just necessarily on this, but I'm a big advocate to talk to your family on anything, especially once you get older. And for the kids that are now have elderly parents, you should always talk to them. You should always definitely check in on them, like, hey, what's going on this week? Did you get anything out of the ordinary? Did you get any text? Recently, Donna, you guys are very familiar, our fearless leader, she shared an email with us about some VA scams, and how not people, but like there's scammers out there requesting information, posing themselves as VA helpers, or veteran affair helpers, and they're requesting payment ahead of time for some services. And so, just like the IRS, it's like there's certain organizations where, again, they might look legit, but you always have to second double check. So again, it's always good to check with your elderly family members. Ask them, hey, have you seen anything out of the ordinary nowadays? Like I said, my parents, I always use my parents in this example because they're elderly at this point. They're retired, and I always ask them, like, hey, now that you have a phone, did you get any text message? Because they're really behind on technology. No offense, mom and dad. I mean, they probably won't understand this because they don't speak that much English, but the iPhones really kick their butts. Like, they probably, I swear, they just have their iPhones just to pick up phone calls. They don't even text back. They just have it to pick up phone calls, and then that's it. And we make them have it so that way we could track them. That way we know where they're at. Like, we make sure they're safe, especially when they're driving or whenever they got to go somewhere. That's how we keep track of them. Because again, we get to a point where the roles switch and we have to take care of our family members. So definitely don't be scared to talk to them. Don't be scared to ask them questions. Definitely check in on their finances, because again, they are an easy target. Not necessarily just because they're older, but because maybe they're behind in technology. They just don't know things that we know, because they just lag behind the information that's being put out in like social media. Like, for example, I wouldn't know about this VA scam if Donna would never send an email, and they definitely don't get emails like that. So if one of them was a veteran, he wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. So keep that in mind. And that basically applies to everything, anything, like I said. Not just did you get any random text. Do you have any financial questions? How are you doing financially? Are you making it? Do you need any money? So always good to ask. But yeah, that's about it. CCCS can help in many different ways, but I think the most valuable thing that we bring to the table, or the most value add that we have to the table, is your budget. You're gonna get a tailor-made budget according to your lifestyle, according to your expenses, according to your family size, all of that. So if you need help financially, if you have any questions financially, or if you want to change your financial situation, you should maybe give us a call or put in the comments, be like, hey, I need some help. Maybe you start a trend, who knows? Maybe you get us to go viral, and then a lot of people come and be like, you know what? I actually need some help too. You'll be surprised who needs help financially. It might be your neighbor. So always like and share, repost, and that's about it. Also, if you tell them, if you want to learn some Spanish, Josue does these not classes, but does these lives in Spanish on Thursday. So That's all I have for you guys today. I will see you guys on Thursday en español. And have a good rest of your week. World Cup is on. Ecuador plays this weekend again. We need all the support in the world. So if you are not Ecuadorian, you better be rooting for them on Saturday. And then if you are not Ecuadorian and you have any other World Cup in your, or any other country, if you're from any other country and they're in the World Cup, I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck. But other than that, take care of yourselves, take care of your budgets. Remember, nobody cares more about your money than you do. It's a matter of life or death. Peace.